What's up, guys? Welcome back to Boost Brothers Garage. In this episode, we're doing some suspension work. Stay tuned. Before I even start here, a little public service announcement. If you have these on your car, wheel locks, take them off. I have spent the last 45 minutes, maybe an hour, looking for the stupid ass wheel lock for this car. I was all excited, got to the shop, ready to start swapping suspension, and I can't even get the wheels off. I still haven't found it. Luckily, the previous owner left this one hand tight so I can at least get started on one corner. Don't know where it's at. If you have them, get rid of them. If people want to steal your wheels, they can get them off. All it's going to do is leave you stranded. I hate them. With that being said, today we are going to start swapping the suspension to late offset and to 944 turbo suspension. This is going to give us larger, better wheel bearings, which on 944s, especially NA 944s that have been widened, the wheel bearings can be a major issue, so this will help out with that. It also helps with wheel choices and brake options, as well as suspension options. So it's a pretty worthwhile upgrade, and it should be relatively simple. I've got a pretty awesome surprise coming, suspension related, here in the next few weeks. I just ordered it today, but it's going to be a few weeks before I can get a hold of it, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let's just start ripping this old stuff off and swapping it over. The first thing we're going to do here is take the sway bar off. To take the sway bar off, you've got your end links right here. I've already started to loosen that nut. And then you've got your support brackets here. So we'll take these off, we'll loosen the end links, and then we'll drop the whole sway bar. So we got the sway bar off. We have good news and we have bad news. The bad news is whoever installed this last put the wrong size nuts on and stripped both of the end links out. So those are shot. The good news is that is a 30 millimeter front sway bar, which I believe is the right size for a track setup. I think they may go a little bigger, maybe 33, I don't remember, but 30 millimeters should be solid. It has a Porsche tag on it, so I don't know. Do you guys know, is that 968 front sway? Is that the MO30 option? Anyway, we got a 30 millimeter front sway bar. I'll get some new end links and we won't have to replace that, which is great. Next, you would typically take the brake lines off. The previous owner must have known that we were gonna do this and he never put brake lines on. So we don't have to do that, but we do have to take the tie rods off. We'll take the tie rod off here, and then down there is the ball joint, and we'll have to take that off as well. And then that lower control arm can swing down. Okay, this thing's being a pain in the ass. I never understand why your car doesn't cooperate when you're trying to make it better. Like, I'm putting good shit on you. You should be happy and you should let me do it. It's not working. The tie rod won't come off because when you try to take the nut off the tie rod, the ball joint in the tie rod, the stud itself just sits there and spins. So you can't loosen the bolt. So I'm letting that soak in some penetrating oil, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna throw some heat at it. I did get the ball joint undone between the control arm and the strut. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the strut out now, and then we'll pull the control arm. Wait, I can't pull the strut yet because the tie rod's still hooked up. So let's work on the control arm. We're gonna start taking the control arm off by taking the bolts out of the caster block. Let's keep going on the A-arm. Fail. Put some body weight into it. Broke it loose. Should be good. That's better. I did something not so smart and let the battery run dead on my impact without having another one charged. But that means we get to take a little break. We get to open an adult beverage, and I get to show you the difference between early and late offset. Over here, early. Over there, late. You can see the additional width on the control arm. So that's where we're gaining our extra track width and allowing a much larger selection of wheels. Persistence is the word of the day. Screw you, tie rod. Now we need to get this strut assembly off. I am gonna have to take these fancy camber plates off for now. My surprise from the beginning of the video, I guess I'll just tell you now, got full coilovers for the car. I'll be able to reuse those camber plates, but for now we'll just go ahead and pull them and install the factory 951 struts, and the camber plate is already on those. Time for reassembly, and to start we're going to do the control arms. If you remember in a prior video I showed that these control arms have monoballs, which is a great upgrade. The control arm is on and it is buttery smooth. However, we have a bad ball joint, so I'll have to get that on order and we'll replace that when we put the coilovers on. I got the strut and hub and brake assembly all in. These didn't come with any nuts, so I had to steal a couple from the sway bar, which will work for now. They won't be there long. Let's go ahead and get these bolted up to the control arms. Let's use a little gentle persuasion. When in doubt, hammer it out. We'll throw that through there and tighten that up, and we're good. All right, so there you have it. The late offset swap for at least the front driver's side is all but complete. We don't have brake calipers on there. I haven't put the sway bar back on. We have to replace the tie rod end. We have to replace the ball joint, but we're a lot closer than we were. And tomorrow, Zach and I are gonna come in. We're gonna throw the fiberglass front end back on it, and we're gonna test fit our new front wheels and start to figure out how wide of lips we need to order for those, which is super exciting. All right, it's the next day. I'm back. I've got Zach's help this time. We're gonna get the front of the car thrown back on so that I can test fit the wheels. I did go home last night and order ball joints and tie rod ends and a timing belt and a water pump and a fuel pump and some other stuff for the car, so we can really start getting after it and getting it ready. Anyway, let's throw the front end on. I meant to film putting this front end on, but we forgot. I just think it's really cool seeing that one piece front end go on and off. But I'm not gonna take it off and put it back on again just to show you guys, sorry. Anyway, it's on. The wheels that we have with no spacer already looks a whole lot better. But I want to go ahead and pull this wheel off and test fit the new wheels to figure out how much wider I can go. Okay, test number 1, the 7.5 inch front wheels. That's not good. That's it's already a lot further out than I thought it was going to be. I think once we put the 9s on there, they're probably going to be the correct fit. So if I want to go wider, I'm going to have to change out the barrel, the back rim half, which I wasn't expecting to do. And that means depending on what the rear is going to do, I likely won't be able to run either a square setup or be able to rotate tires. So I don't know, we won't know until we get the rear done, but I'm gonna throw the 9-inch wheel on there and see what it looks like. So something interesting is happening here. As I tighten this down, the center of the wheel is hitting the center of the spindle, like the dust cap where the wheel bearing and everything is, before the back of the wheel touches the brake rotor. Houston, we have a problem. I just measured the dust cap and the wheel bearing housing, spindle, whatever you want to call it, and it was just under 67 millimeters. And the inside of the wheel here is like 58. So either we're gonna have to run a 15 millimeter or so spacer to take up that extra space back here, or I'll have to get the wheels machined, which I've never heard of anyone having to do. This is new to me, and unfortunately pretty disappointing. After talking to our buddy Thomas and a last ditch effort to see if these would fit, we pulled the dust cap off, and unfortunately, if you get in close, you can see that the wheel is still contacting here before the hub hits the brake rotor. So what's next? I don't know. Still think, you know, run a small spacer or potentially get the wheels machined. But either way, on that bombshell, we'll see you next time.